I'm shook. Folks, Star Citizen's latest roadmap roundup is here for 4.11, and it's huge. They dropped basically the biggest feature we have ever seen coming to Star Citizen on a roadmap roundup. New eyebrows. Okay, no, but really there's a lot of really good things here besides the eyebrows. We got Starchitect updates, we got Planet Tech updates, we got Nyx I, the first planet coming in the new system, and I've got all of the references to show you why this is happening now and what they were saying about it before. Guys, planets. Another update to planets. Let's see if this is the one that'll do it. Can we finally have our final planets? I really loved their original Planet Tech V5, if you will, the flattening. This was their April Fool's joke on 2020. And, you know, honestly, I wouldn't mind if they did this to just like one planet out there in the game somewhere, just to have a little kick. But anyways, we're getting distracted. Let's talk about what's coming in 4.11. Now, we don't know if this is a September update or an October update. I'm gonna probably lean towards October, but it does not say during this update. What we can see is that Nyx I is coming. Nyx I is a coreless planet that orbits closest to the sun in the Nyx system. Once considered impossible to terraform, Nyx I has undergone a drastic transformation thanks to a new experimental technology developed by Genesis Terraforming, and now features a robust ecosphere capable of supporting a wide diversity of life. And by life, they meant this. We don't know when, but at some point, all of these will be in the game. So somewhere on Nyx I, one of these will be found. And you can go back into the monthly reports and you can see that they were talking about this already. New meshes for a new creature family have progressed and are now ready for playtesting. They've been working on every new character as well as new creatures coming into the game. We've been hearing about this a little bit here and there. In fact, if you go back to the March monthly report, there's a whole creature segment about this coming along. So expect to see something new in the fauna segment when we do go out to this planet, but that's not all that's going to be there. Starchitect is also coming into the game. This is best explained through the lens of Genesis. I've done a video on Genesis. I'll link it down below, and you can see the thumbnail somewhere over here on the screen. This is basically the new version of Planet Tech, but it's cut into like 5 different phases. We're only getting the first 2, Starchitect and Planet Tech. Planet Tech V5 is a complete rework of how planets are built, populated, and rendered, introducing emergent biomes driven by realistic physical properties and scattering plants and rocks according to their natural behavior, reworking terrain shading across materials like sand, dirt, and rock and snow, and moving generation and spawning to the GPU to support denser environments with improved rendering performance. We've seen this for years now being shown off here. Different biomes like new swamps. They want to bring in jungles. Obviously, the focus really here is on the density of the foliage, which I'm imagining you're thinking, how the heck is Star Citizen going to do that? Moving it to the GPU is one way they say this is going to work, but, you know, I think we all got to see it to believe it. And 4.11, they're saying it's going to happen. So that's one part of this. The more believable part. The second part is Starchitect. It reads, implementing Starchitect, a new procedural world-building system that automatically scatters sectors, clusters, and locations across planetary bodies while constructing locations from modular tiles. Using Genesis data to identify suitable placement for game objects, Starchitect introduces a new workflow for populating planets and building large-scale locations across an expanding universe. This is a solution that they want to use to make sure you don't have to fly all over the place to get your chain of missions done. You can just do it all on one planet. You can see some of the logic of how this works here in this video as it's explained.
Let's look at an example, as I've mentioned a couple times by now. So for our mining outpost, it wants to be near a resource. We can specify what this resource needs to be. But we can also give it suggestions where sometimes you'd find it here and sometimes you wouldn't. If the location has refineries, it might want to be near water to refine the resources.
Pretty specific, right? But then you look even further into how they're going to cluster things together.
They need protection. As for the targets, well, caves, mining outposts, but even trade posts. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Before I do so, I forgot data.
Okay, here's how they build them on planets.
Clusters, and we group them together. ranging between 10 to 15 locations each. And we group this into what we call a sector. Like this one, that has about 120 locations. However, on a planetary scale, we can define how many sectors we should have.
You guys have seen this. We've been over this a lot. Ends up totaling like 3,000 freaking locations per planet. I don't know if they're going to hit that. This was 2 years ago. They were talking about this. CIG tends to recalibrate a little bit when they're working on this kind of stuff. So we'll see how it is delivered. But what is crucial to know is that this you can already see in practice in Pyro. You can actually see that locations are planted pretty close to each other, and there's some relations between them. So this is starting to prove out in the game, and this is a system that was built off of the Rastar system that you guys may remember they used to build outposts with. So it's somewhat proven out, but at this scale, And you'll also see down here, it mentions Starchitect POIs, because it's not just the system, it is the actual locations that the system builds. Implementing new ground locations owned by various factions, offering a variety of procedurally generated combinations of building compositions. These will support a wide variety of mission archetypes and gameplay loops. You can go up then and see that it also says Starchitect Mission Pack. Implementing new sandbox missions across sprawling planetary locations, designed to keep players planetside for longer with focus on more localized objectives. I do think this is also going to lead to them having mission boards at outposts that you can go and physically access. We've seen some talk of missions here in, let's see if I can find this, recent monthly report. The narrative team had writers working on missions for the upcoming Starchitect locations. This new technology would allow for more places to visit than ever before, and the team is helping to make sure that they are new contracts to experience. This is obviously pretty important. It's also pretty complex, so I think people are going to be pretty skeptical about how well this does for the game, but it is supposed to also come with a pretty big AI advancement. We can see here they mention the population manager. Implementing the population manager tech, its primary goal is to load balance the server population and create inhabitants appropriate to their local environment, while enabling more complex interactions between agents focused on a dynamic context. Like, they've got a lot to prove with something like this in the way that AI works in the game. Now, Benoit was talking about this on camera and how they would ship all these together earlier this year. I'll let you listen to that.
Tell me something we should be excited about that we're not currently excited about. Give us something nobody's expecting.
That's hard. You're putting me on the spot now.
I'm putting you on the spot, mister.
We weren't expecting it at the time.
Okay. Well, one thing we didn't talk about in detail that I could give background info on is Genesis.
Okay.
And Nyx I, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, we're obviously working on this. That's no surprise to anyone. But the one thing that I'm excited about is that we've kind of conjoined development on 3 separate things in order to ship the best Nyx experience that we could offer, right? And so, obviously, Genesis is part of that, and the Planet Tech that's behind it. But also, the Starchitect work. And so, for those who don't know, Starchitect is a way for us to be smarter about building planets and the human populations that are on them. So settlements, buildings, distro centers, LZs, name it, right? So historically, we've placed that by hand. And so Starchitect is a way for us to give designers control over the planetary scale of how these are distributed. And that's a fairly fundamental change to how the game is made. And the third one is what we call the population control / population manager. So currently you have AIs in the game, right, that are sometimes hand placed, sometimes dynamically spawned. We've talked about
spawn like a
gazillion
just hitting the
times.
spawn button.
Yeah, which is my biggest pet peeve. By the way, that's my trigger point. If you want to trigger me in a meeting,
sometimes they just don't pay attention to you. Most.
But anyway, the time. So population management and control is a third component of this. So I'm excited about this because as we're working towards Nyx.
That's mainly what you need to know. And that's going to be the biggest part of 4.11, obviously, besides the eyebrows. You can see some pretty, dude, these look really nice. The biggest thing that they're changing here really is the density of the foliage, the forests, all of that kind of, look at the freaking, how close they are together. I can't tell if it's as good as they tried to show us here. What they showed us here was pretty impressive. This is the improvement over what we currently have. You see, it's pretty, this is Microtech, and it looks pretty standard. The density is incredibly different. If they can pull that off, it would be amazing. And looking at this, I can't tell, but it looks pretty good. Now, besides this, there's also some new heavy armor coming in. Looks like, I don't know, it kind of looks like it's like melting off of him. Droopy heavy armor. Tis called, it doesn't have a name. Implementing a heavy armor in the persistent universe. There is also character customization on eyebrows, implementing 3 new eyebrow styles and updating 6 existing options to bring them up to the current visual quality standard. I can't say I've ever specified my eyebrows in this game, but someday. Castac Arms Verdict LMG, implementing a new LMG, a medium-range weapon that builds heat through sustained fire before unleashing devastating superheated plasma projectiles. Castac Arms with a plasma LMG. Interesting, and it's got alternate fire mode. Okay, this should be an interesting gun to see added to the game. We have also got the Castac Arms Hellion pistol. It's a plasma pistol. Get out of here. A high-velocity plasma weapon that creates hazardous impact zones, allowing operators to rapidly deploy multiple areas of denial across the battlefield. Okay, are we not gonna act like this is what we're about to get? Dude, if we get a plasma pistol like this, I'm gonna crack up. Alright, besides this, we're also getting a new Wicklow ship offering, the Tiburon, already coming into the game. That's good. Adding an Aegis Tiburon with unique base livery and upgraded components as a reward for completing new additions to the variety of available Wicklow Emporium contracts. Folks, this is a big one, but there's no Star Wars here. That's a big missing point, and we got to keep an eye out for that. Maybe it'll show up on the roadmap at some point. We've still got, I think, plenty of time before any of this ends up showing up in the PTU. All of them are set to tentative, and at least a month before this shows up in the game. So let's keep an eye out, see if Star Wars shows up, see if maybe Suit Lockers show up, though it's looking less likely. Either way, it's a big update. I'll keep you guys updated on how it goes. Why am I pointing at you? Bye.